When you need milk for Zoe and a cold brew for yourself, Kroger Delivery will get you just what you need in as little as 30 minutes. Open the Kroger app and start your cart, whatever the cart. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Delivery times not guaranteed. Restrictions may apply. See site for details.
When you're a Boost member, you get free delivery, double fuel points, and lots more. Sign up at Kroger.com/boost.
I never, ever thought I would open a business for myself, and then I had a baby.
Meet Patrice Mousseau, founder of Satya Organics, a skincare company created for people with skin issues, powered by Shopify.
When Esme was about 8 months old, she developed eczema. The doctor's only option to me was steroid creams. I just started experimenting in my kitchen crock pot. I actually found something that cleared her eczema up in 2 days. After about a year or so of just selling it out of my kitchen window, I decided to make a business out of it. Shopify templates are fantastic, and their customer service is absolutely stellar. You can buy Satya online, you can buy it in stores, you can buy it in our social channels, and that's all made possible by Shopify.
When you're ready to share your business with the world, grow it on Shopify, the all-in-one commerce platform trusted by millions of businesses like Satya. Get a free 14-day trial at shopify.com/free22 and start selling wherever your customers are with easy-to-use tools and friendly 24/7 support. Go to shopify.com/free22. Shopify.com/free22.
This is Jordan Grace, and you're listening to the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
BWB, this is One Nation Radio. You better get it right. Rich Latta, James Boyd came to give them life. The Blackest Wrestling Podcast has come to kick all ass and drop it 6 feet if they kicking trash. Word, let me welcome y'all to something different. And if you dig it, man, you should let some friends listen. We be getting it in, this on the regular, dude. Ravish and flow, but this shit rude. See, James don't rap, so I had to break it down. The whole network, man, we coming for the crown. Raps in the columns, I keep them both covered. Making the beats too, so the listeners can bump it. Hit us with the rating, yeah, I'm saying it's a 5. Before you hit and talk, bob your head side to side. It's One Nation Radio, and this is the beginning. It's Rich, and I'm here with James. It's time to listen to One Nation.
We got to unleash the power of the pyramid.
This is Mike Sempervive from WrestlingObserver.com. Check me out on Wrestling Observer Live every day. And also check out your boys, Rich and James, on One Nation Radio.
This is Kenny Omega. We're listening to One Nation Radio. Check it out, guys. These guys know what's up. Big Kenny Omega fans, that's all that counts to me. Goodbye and good night. Bang.
Hey, folks. Welcome to One Nation Radio. I'm his boy. Here we have Rich Latta. What's going on, man?
Not much, man. Just been watching my Spotify kind of in amazement. Been doing pretty well on there. Make sure you guys check out my song In the Trenches with John Connor and Montezi. I want to say it's about around 3,000 streams right now, which is pretty cool. I guess I hit the right pitch style. I don't know what happened, but it's starting to like take off on Spotify. So I just type in Rich Latta on there, and you'll come across it. And very happy that one is going. So what's up with you, man?
I'm tired, boss. I basically went on a 4-day binge to catch up to all of the G1 stuff. So that's 17 shows, like all the tournament matches. So like I did that from Friday through today to about like an hour ago and caught up. So a lot of wrestling, a lot of how do you say it? I can't come up with the word. My mind's kind of fried, but like just bad prioritizing of life, and socially and all that kind of stuff. But I got it done. I did it. I did the damn thing. And like,
how do you feel?
I'm tired, boss. Like I can't. That's all I can tell you. I'm tired. Like I was, before the stream. I don't know if you picked it up on stream or not, but I was like, yeah, man. Like my vision is blurry. That's how tired I am right now. But whatever. Like we'll make it work. Like we'll get this done. I'll post this up, and then I'll go to sleep and I'll watch the final night of of blocks from this morning. I think it's probably like 5 a.m. or something like that. I'm not going to stay up 5 a.m. I'm going to get my ass up in the morning and I'll watch it then, and I'll enjoy the show. I have the scenarios. I have all that stuff to go through. Like I'm going to give you like the common sense scenarios when I'm finna go down. Like, what is the 4th place tiebreaker for block D, which is ridiculous. Everybody's on 6 except for like 2 people, but I have the common sense stuff.
Are we going to play the Benny Hill music behind you as you say this?
No, and I will not need to like break it down talking rapidly fast like I'm Excalibur either. Like I have it, it'll be concise, it'll be simple, it'll be very similar to like when I break down like going to the final night of the Grand Prix.
Man, well, that's cool, man. I guess
you ever notice at the Grand Prix, like they don't have these things where it's like, what's the 5th or 7th tiebreaker? It's just like you win or you go home. Like it's not, all this other stuff. Like I remember one year it was like, it could be a possible like a 7th tiebreaker or something, or 3rd tiebreaker that Josh told me about. And he was like, well, it could happen. It happened before. I was like, the fact that it happened before doesn't bode well for the part where like someone's going to easily understand that. Like you shouldn't do it. Like it doesn't mean it's going to happen, but it also doesn't mean like you should do it just because you got it in the book back. Like, cause all of a sudden you look at it like, I watch these tournaments all the time, right? Grand Prix, whatever. And like, you know what happens? Like the matches happen. And at the end of it, like the announcer tells you what just happened, who advanced or who not. And the crowd oohs and ahs and moves on. Cause they don't know this shit. And they're watching it and they're there. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, like I'm gonna give you the common sense stuff. If something outside the common sense thing happened, that's not my fault. They fucked it up.
Well, so we got a segment we're kind of like gonna go into that later, as James was saying, but James does have an appearance on Keepin It Strong Style coming up. Is that next week?
I think so. Like Josh he asked me to come on. I said okay. He didn't give me a date. It could be tomorrow for all I know. I have no idea.
Sounds good, man. Well, we do have a couple of announcements before we get into the show. So we are coming up on our 10-year anniversary next month. It's usually around the week 1 of the NFL football season. We've been doing this show since 2012. So I guess if you guys want to put us over real big, we would like to play some stuff on the show. And I guess I'll do it like this. If you guys have audio clips to send, you can send them to me. You can send them to Rich at Social Suplex. And I will compile them all. I will not listen to them until we play them on the air. I will compile the file. I will make a long file, however long it is, and drop that audio in it, save it, export it, and we will play it live on the show for you guys whenever that show happens. So, the best stuff, we'll see. I'll just order it in the order that I get it. I won't, cheat. So hopefully everybody comes correct. But what else we got? Any thoughts on the 10-year show coming up, James, that I've just decided to talk about at random?
If I remember correctly, we basically did our first show where we told everybody like who are 10 or 20. It was our 20 favorite wrestlers like of all time at the time. I think that it would be appropriate to either list who our 20 favorite wrestlers are now, after 10 years of watching wrestling again from a different perspective, or like come up with like over the last 10 years who are our 20 favorite wrestlers. That could be more up to you, or that could be up to whoever's whatever they decide. Dealer's choice in the chat, but I think one of those two would be appropriate. And a year in, we always do our 10 favorite matches of the year. Like I think we should probably do like our 10 favorite matches of the decade,
the O&R era. Yeah, for sure. And it was we got to 100 clips on the YouTube today. So as you guys may have seen, I've been chopping up the clips from these Twitch streams and popping them up on the YouTube. Before that, we were cutting audio up and stuff like that. So if there's you come across anybody and you want to recommend One Nation Radio, I think that's a great place to start. That's all the free audio that's out there. That's just a hell of a playlist, I think, that's just covering the last 8 to 12 months of wrestling, and serious and some sometimes comical fashion that, you know, I take a lot of pride in putting those clips out and putting them together. We also got started on TikTok. I opened a TikTok account for One Nation Radio. So if you guys want to find, you know, us on there, find us on there. I'll be putting clips there as well. Got some discussion taken off on there already. Lots of plays coming through. So it's a little bit different audience on TikTok I'm seeing. So it'll be pretty interesting to see how those clips do well on that. YouTube Shorts is doing well for us. So we're just stepping it up all around here on ONR. So yeah. So that's it pretty much as far as the announcements.
All right. One more announcement. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to come on for a midweek show. I don't know if you want to hop on or not, but like basically go over the end of the G1 and then like catch up on Stardom and go and preview the pay-per-view for Saturday for Stardom. So I'll be on some point Thursday or something like that. So yeah. But I guess we'll get into it. I guess it's time to actually get into it now. So where do you want to start?
Let's go ahead and get the returns in WWE out the way first, because we have a lot of people here. I'm sure they saw the timeline and all the most recent news before we get to Quake at the Lake, which I think was a phenomenal episode. We have some returns. First, Hit Row is back. Minus Swerve. So that is Top Dollar, Ashanti the Adonis, and B-Fab. I remember when they were released, said a lot of nice things about these people, especially Brianna. I was hoping that she got another shot in pro wrestling. I thought she was extra charismatic. Nothing changes there. Top Dollar and Ashanti the Adonis look to be programmed as baby faces. There's a lot of unknown for me here. Obviously, the elephant in the room is like there's no Swerve this time to really like give them that worker credibility, that like that star presence that he has. So it's going to be all on Top Dollar and Ashanti, who's somewhat of a prospect himself. A lot of people speak highly of him. Top Dollar is, I think, more of an unknown as far as a in-ring talent. We know he's loaded with charisma. He's got his own, you know, sense of self, which is really cool for a wrestler for sure. And I think it is. It is going to be tough though, because like we don't really have anything for them to point to. It's not like there's a 10-year career behind them like Swerve has. Like when Swerve was with them, it's like, all right, there's like built-in credibility here. There's not a lot of experience there with Hit Row, but it's almost a sink or swim because they didn't even really have all that time in NXT to really develop as workers and in-ring talent. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they're programmed going forward. AJ's in his early 30s, you know, NFL career, not that much experience. So there's a lot going there. I don't know how this is going to go though. I'm kind of nervous.
It depends on what they want to, how they're going to slot this. Like, if they're just going, I don't want to say if they're just, like, if the goal is for them to be with Ashanti and with Top Dollar to be a career tag team, I think that sets them up for success because they have the charisma to do it. They don't have to rely on, one person having to overextend themselves or, wrestle above the level that they're not capable of right now, this second, to be able to handle that. And with some of the tag teams that we have, like the Usos, like the New Day, like RK Bro and the like there are a number of good tag teams that you can then put them in programs with and move them along. And then when you have Brianna there, that's an easy heater, all that, right? Now if the thing is like, if Triple H or whoever is, I'm not even going to get into that. If Triple H has the idea that this is going to be a breakout machine for one of them, then I have different questions. But as far as, the easy path or whatever else is, put them in there, let them go out there. And then also you think about it like, something I also noticed with NXT 2.0, like Santos seems to be on his way up to the main roster. And I'm assuming that will also be with Legado. And right there will be an instant thing. They hit the ground running with, quite frankly, a feud that like should have happened and been played out and realized fully in NXT, but it got scrapped to call up Hit Row originally, and then they scrapped Hit Row. So, I think that this was, as far as just off the goodwill alone, it was a good idea. And then plus the idea of like, if Triple H wants to, the NXT-ification of the main roster, if you will, like a lot of people have talked about it, but like, and have had their concerns, but I think like, I really think it's worth it to have a good tag team like division or divisions, on the main roster. And that's a very solid tag team to have, for WWE.
I do question the timing of it. It's coming off the heels of also another return of Dexter Lumis coming back. I was no Dexter Lumis fan.
Neither was I.
One. I don't know many of them. I think a lot of people were feigning excitement for Dexter Lumis showing up, getting arrested. Dexter Lumis, all capital letters, exclamation points, like a game-changing star has appeared. This is not the case. And then that on the heels of Cross. So I'm looking at like Triple H and the people that he's bringing back, and it's like, all right. So is this the plan? Help show me the plan. What is the plan here?
I think Loomis is one where it's like, he's not a hire. He's not a hire for me at all. The other, as far as someone like Dakota Kai, EO, Hit Row, Cross, and Scarlett, like those are people that like, I feel like those people that are valuable to any roster, depending on where you slot them, of course, right? So I have no problem with that. The Loomis thing is like, the Loomis act is just, it does nothing for me whatsoever. Nothing. It never did. So, like if not even as a comedy act did I ever find it funny. Like when they, him and Indy were, on their honeymoon and he pulls out a thing of condoms, I was like, wait a second, y'all, never mind. I'm not going to get into it. Safe sex is great, but I had questions as to why that would exactly be funny, but whatever. I just, Loomis is the one where I was like, yeah, whatever. Any other ones, I'm like, I'm fine. Like, and I can see, like, if you think that Triple H is going, I can see you have concerns if you think Triple H is going to push these people or slide these people in ways that were to the detriment of NXT, like on the main roster. I just don't think that's going to happen. But outside of Loomis one, I think they're fine. Loomis one's where I'm just like, for who, for what?
Yeah, a lot of these people were around during the not so great period of NXT that often gets talked about. T-Mess in the comments says all the good people they fired from Black and Gold have already been signed by AEW, so this is what he's got left to bring back. There are a few more people out there that I'd wonder if he had interest in, like W. Morrissey. I would for sure, if I was Triple H, I would be calling him for sure. And like, I thought about would they bring Enzo back, but that might be a bridge too far. But at least Morrissey, I would be eager to see him get another chance somewhere.
I think that if I had to choose between W. Morrissey or like ride with who I got, I think I'd try to figure out riding with who I got from now before, and then like break the glass case for emergency. Then I might need to call somebody else. Because
he's in the signing mood. So, and there's a lot of wrestlers, twerking on the timeline and doing their best to get noticed and stuff like that. I think Morrissey is complete. Like, I think he did great in his appearance in AEW. Obviously, he was still with Impact. I think he looked solid, and especially like as far as compared to what the hell he was in 2018. Like, his body's rebuilt. He's got like a presence about him. I would advocate for WWE to look at that guy. And especially like with their audience. They already know who he is. They love the guy at his at his peak there as a babyface. He's a Northeast guy. I think this is a no-brainer. I would be much higher on bringing a W. Morrissey than a Karrion Kross.
I've seen better matches from Cross, even the ones that disappointed me more than Morrissey, but that's your opinion. Quite frankly, if I was WWE and I felt like I need to re-sign a big guy just because they're big, then I'd just bring back Braun. I just would, because it's like Braun was already over, and then like with the right people, you can have him just run into shit and all that kind of stuff, and do the main event monster match where you run into shit and the shit breaks and blows up around the ringside stuff, and I just do that with Braun Strowman like every 2 months, like, to be quite honest with you, but But I guess we're now here choosing between Karrion Kross and W. Morrissey. I didn't know the picture was this slim for dudes over 240 pounds in pro wrestling in America. Jesus. Fuck.
That's how it goes, man.
I didn't know. We got Drew McIntyre, we got Walter, we got Roman Reigns, we got Brock Lesnar retainer, and there's somebody else I'm forgetting also. Did I say Drew McIntyre? Did I say Walter? Bobby Lashley? Did I say Walter? Did I say Roman Reigns? Those are people that come to mind. Like, I don't really feel the need that we need to go add more big guys. Like, maybe I'm mistaken here. I don't know. Like, whatever. It is New York, right? It is New York. So you can never have too many. It's like pass rushers. You can never have too many of them, I guess, or too many power arms in the rotation in the pitching staff. I don't know, but I just see it as like, there's no need to bring in a slew of guys all at once. If you want to bring them in over time sporadically, cool. But like, I don't really see the need to bring in like just a whole wing of 2021's NXT to, just cause.
Leo Rush is making noise like he may be he put some on his social media today. It was like a highlight reel of him doing like yoga or something, had like a ninja type bandana on, and he was put up a highlight clip of various times that he spent in WWE, stuff like that. So he's got something there, but I don't know. Leo Rush is an ultimate wild card for me at this point. I don't think there's any reason to. Okay. I'll say like this.
Forget that part. No, we ain't got to go that far. This man went on Jericho's podcast and said that Triple H still owes him money. Did he not do that? Did that not happen?
Yeah. Like, there's that.
I don't think it's getting signed. Do we need to go any further?
I think I would probably say about Leo Rush, because everyone's been talking about this all day.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And
I've been swamped with other things.
Like, I feel like Leo Rush is almost as trustworthy as Kyrie Irving at this point. And nothing to do with like a vaccine status. It just means anything that can go wrong almost will at this point, whether it's a physical thing, whether it's like him feeling insulted about something and like shit just doesn't work for him, which is his right and all that. But there's just a lot, I think, with Leo that it's good that he's been out the ring to try to like figure this stuff out, especially physically. But he's got obviously lots of talent, but he just has not found the right situation. Triple H, it didn't work. Vince, it obviously didn't work. Tony Khan, it didn't work. New Japan, he's done like a couple one-offs here and there. So it's like, if usually like at least one of those three would be able to like make it work with you. Mm-hmm. He's still got his music passions that he's still going after. So as far as Leo goes, I don't know, as I mentioned, I don't know why there would be a reason to trust him at this point. But if you feel like you can crack the code, I think you got to try, but you have to. I'm talking like Court Bauer or something, like feels like they can crack the code on Leo Rush, but MLW is so kind of low profile, it may not be worth it.
Yeah, I'm with you. He's so fucking talented, Jesus Christ. But I guess you give him one more shot. Like, you give many shots as you can tolerate with whatever comes with, him being in and out the lineup, if you will. Like when you said the Kyrie Irving thing, it did strike. Like, I just started thinking of all the Stephen A. Smith, he won't show up to work stuff. But yeah, like the dude is so talented, like, and you do give it as many chances as you possibly can before you just say I've had enough. So yeah, like we're gonna be going through this for like the next decade of Leo Rush, maybe going in and out of places on a whim. I feel like that's gonna happen, or at least over the next like 5 years. So dude's that talented.
I am advocating for Hunter, the Game, the King of Kings, the deathmatch specialist himself. Go ahead, bring him back. You know you want to. Who am I talking about? Is returning. It is time. Right here. Look at me, Triple H. Look over your nose. I know you guys just got the earning report, right? You need top draws. You need people that your fan base loves. You need people to tell stories. You need people to eat innings. You need them. Who? Let him back in. The Fiend. Bring him home, Triple H. Bring him home so I don't have to worry about him showing up anywhere I care about. Bring him home so he can contribute to professional wrestling that is terrible. Bring him home so he can contribute to people getting under in this business. Please do it for me. Do it for this podcast. Do it for the Twitch chat. Do it for the world. Thank you.
So I had no idea you were going, and then I guess once you said eat innings, I was like, oh, is he going there? And then I was like, oh, okay, he's talking about Wyatt. Yeah, is that still a thing?
Yes.
Is it a thing because he's just still out there, or is it actually like some
there was some reporting this past week that saying all signs point to that could be going, like, you know, the winds are blowing that way.
Well, whatever. Like,
because every day I wake up thinking today is the day that Tony Khan is going to jump off the bridge and sign Bray Wyatt, and I'm just like going to have to figure something out. But every day, was it the Eric Redbeard that scared you? You know what? No.
Like, his homie showed up. Oh no! No!
You know what? No, because I would associate him more with Brody Lee. Like I feel like I can compartmentalize that, but I don't assume that leads to Bray Wyatt. So like I didn't get that feeling. But if Bray Wyatt is coming anywhere, he needs to go back there. He's got unfinished business. Please. But yeah, man. That's what's got to happen. Like it's only right. It's the way it goes, man. But as far as I guess we should talk about AEW Quake at the Lake.
Okay, man. So I remember this being a great show, but like I don't remember anything from the past week. So once you go through this, it'll jog some memories or whatever else. But I am wholly having to rely on you. I don't remember anything outside of like thinking like Jericho versus Moxley was great. How great? I don't know. We'll have to go through this to kind of jog my memory. My mind's gone, bro. So you're gonna have to,
I got you.
Fill in the gaps.
Yeah, man. So AEW Quake at the Lake, phenomenal show. I know people kind of like have been thinking about like the AEW special show names. They may not be as effective like ratings wise and things like that. They've done lots of them, but I think the cool thing about it is AEW is trying to create their own history. So like, next time there's a Quake at the Lake in Minnesota. Minnesota's an awesome crowd. I believe our homeboy Frankie Leone was in the crowd there tonight. Same place as Full Gear Target Center. So this whole thing is began with a coffin match. Brody King versus Darby Allin, blood within minutes. And this was just blood everywhere. Insane amount of physicality in this match. As far as like, just throwing Brody King throwing Darby everywhere, Darby bouncing all around, Darby taking the action back to Brody King, whether it was, those dives, and there was like an avalanche code red by Darby Allin at one point. There was a run in at a certain point, but the House of Black came out after Julia Hart started tripping up Darby. Matthews and Malachi Black were there. They basically kind of walked around, and then the lights went, or they walked around, and then Sting was laying in the coffin. He opened it. Sting gets out the coffin. It was excellent. Crowd went nuts. He kind of has Sting and Malachi Black kind of have this dynamic that I think is actually kind of interesting. And the less they say, the better. So
I think they're playing on the part where it's like, at first when Malachi first showed up, he was beating Cody's ass and everything. It felt like he was almost like he was going to be like their Undertaker in a way. And then and then once you throw in, the Crow Sting, then it naturally turns into, we got to get these two on camera together. I don't hate it, but you're probably right as far as like more fighting and wrestling Malachi, less talking. And I think Malachi said something about he's like working through it. He's working with like a back injury that he thought like could have like ended his career. So I think that's the reason why there's a lot of him doing promo instead of like wrestling right now.
The crazy thing is, like, if he's like looking injured or whatever, I could not tell. He's in phenomenal physical condition right now, like best I've ever seen him. But this all ends with, like Brody getting, like Darby taking advantage of Brody, and there are thumbtacks on the underside of the coffin. So if you try to get out of it, it's disgusting. This match is blood everywhere. Check it out. Highly recommended. And there was the thing about this feud is Darby has been getting attacked everywhere by Brody King. Brody King's been choking him, putting them to sleep everywhere. But the finish of this match is, Darby has the chain that Brody King can't, normally wears. And he goes in the ring and he hangs King over the ropes until Brody King goes limp. He falls and perfectly lands in the coffin, and the coffin closes on itself. This is awesome. I'd probably go 4 on this.
Yeah, I go 4 on it as well. And I remember, and like I thought that the ending, given how they were in that battle royal, and he got choked out and hung over Tam Nakano Natsupoi style, and then dropped, like the lead to the reversal of it. And the big guy falls into the casket, and he bumps the casket, falls in, and the door shuts behind it. I was like, it's almost like a video game ending of a boss fight, where like you lower down the meter, and then now you get the animation showing you how like the person how the boss basically just dies, and you're just like, how convenient how he just falls to the thing and then it closes shut. I was like, I want to know if this was just serendipity or if this is like just perfect. Which one? Or if there's like a thing that was like that we didn't see that like closed the thing that we couldn't tell, because it was too convenient. It was like, I want to know what went into that happening. Was it just pure luck, or was it just like practice, or what?
Yeah, man. Up next, we had a Moxley promo basically saying he wants to rename the title to the FYI title. Jericho's body is going to break. Jericho then got to respond to him in a promo basically saying he's going to win the title. They were both by themselves. Got back to the ring. Tornado tag action. LFI, La Faction, and Ingobernables against the Lucha Brothers. This was a really good match. Ironically, I would have thought they may have done a better traditional tag team match rather than just like them all in the ring together at the same time. It's like just like bend the rules as far as like like seeing the tags in the traditional tag structure. I think would have actually been more exciting than this was, because some of the time I think there was just like, both guys would be down and then both would be kicking the shit out of them, and I don't know, it was less back and forth to me in this match where I felt like a regular match would have been.
It felt like it felt like a lucha tag that had tornado tag rules.
Mm-hmm.
And like, as you mentioned, like the times where they were, most of the action was so much contained in the ring between the four that it felt like almost unnecessary. Like they could have just did a lucha tag and, 2v2 and it'd been fine. But I don't know if it was like Tony Khan or whoever else is overthinking of like, well, they're not going to pay attention to tag rules anyway, so let's just get that shit out of there. And then ultimately, like, it would have better benefited them to just have done, lucha tag rules. And I don't, has there been a lucha tag rules match in AEW before? There's had to have been, right?
Not that I know of, where someone rolls out the ring and then the next person's the legal man.
Yeah, it's a no tag match.
Yeah, I would had to look really hard to see if that's actually happened. But this match was like, obviously these guys all showed up. Like we're still getting good Roosh, which is good. Andrade is looking big as ever. He was in the t-shirt and all that. And something weird is weird about this. I'm like, Andrade's lifting all these weights. He's in the best physical condition we've ever seen him. Yet he's wearing more clothing than ever. Like, he doesn't want to like show off the wear, the guns. Like what's the deal with this?
I mean, I don't know. As I don't know, it's going around. Like, I've been watching the G1 and like Tama Tonga like looks like a future world heavyweight champion, and that man like keeps the vest on, and then like when he hulks up to fire up, he takes it off. Like, I saw that 7 times or 6 times over the span of the last 4 days. I don't know what's going on. Like, I remember Jericho was talking about that, about like, I lift all these goddamn weights. Like, I'm not going to wear a shirt. Like, why would I do that? But that's what he wants to do. Whatever, man.
I guess he's trying to sling that merch, but
that could be part of it. Yeah.
This ended up with Pentagon getting tied. Of course, his mask always comes back to haunt him, tied into the ropes, and he unmasked himself, which is a very important distinction to make. I saw a lot of people wondering whether this should be a disqualification since it was Lucha rules. Well, 1, that's only in Mexico.
Right.
And 2, he unmasked himself to get out of that, to help this thing. That wasn't something the opponent did to him.
Yes. This man made the sacrifice to save his brother. It was great. It was a great plot point. And it ultimately still didn't save him because, boy, they put Phoenix in that corner, and Roosh fucking crushed him with that corner basement drop kick.
Killed him.
What was he call him? Something horns? That's his finish.
The horns.
That's his finish. That's his finish. It's been his finish ever since I've ever seen him in Ring Honor. It's like, he puts you in the corner. He does basically like the running from one corner to the opposite one with a running basement dropkick in the mouth, and he fucking just hit Phoenix as hard as he could in the mouth with his feet, and then they pinned him. And I was like, God damn. Or maybe Maria Andrade hit a move too and then pinned him. I forgot which one it was, but he just laid into Phoenix.
Yeah, for sure. This one, I would probably say it was still like 4 or 4 1/4 still.
Right.
Despite my
we're trying to figure out, like, this is where we're at now. We're trying to figure out, like, how come this wasn't a 5-star match? That's kind of, why wasn't this a match? Why wasn't this one of the very best matches of the year? Like, because of the level of talent in the ring. Yeah, like, this was still a great ass match. Yeah, I'm with you.
So in the back, they cut back there, and the Bucks were looking for Hangman Page. So they found him with the Dark Order. Matt Jackson did like kind of a long speech. He said he's proud of Hangman, and his best times in his life were with Hangman. But maybe the trolls on the internet are right. Maybe they hold people back. Blah, blah, blah. Matt then asked Hangman to reunite the Hung Bucks one last time in the Trios tournament. Hangman then says he would, but he's with the Dark Order this time. And, the Dark Order's had his back from day one, and the Dark Order is going to be in the Trios tournament. He's not going to be in it, but he's going to be in their corner. Kind of a callback for AEW All Out 2019 when Hangman asked the Bucks to second him, and they turned him down, and now the shoe's on the other foot. So this all kind of led into just the Bucks kind of being heartbroken here, and just like, they didn't get, I don't want to say they didn't get it, but it was like, I imagine if you're a Hangman Page fan, you were happy he turned the Bucks down. Like, if, like, you're riding with Hangman, right or wrong, right? If you're one of those people, right? You're like, good. Was this a smart move for Hangman here?
Whether it was a smart move, I don't really know. Ultimately, I know at some point they're going to get back together. I don't know if I don't know how soon that is, but sometime within the next 2 or 3 years, they're going to get back together, and it's going to be this big, forgiveness tour, and people are gonna love it, and like whatever. Good for them and good for y'all, right? Whoever's into that thing, I'm glad y'all are gonna get it, and y'all gonna be like, we waited for all this and all the ups and downs. But I could not help but notice when Matt Jackson came out and said all that baby please, it reminded me of like one of my favorite rom-coms, where like the gist of it is these people meet each other by chance on a plane flight from Los Angeles to New York. They run into each other again while they're in New York on vacation. Years later, they meet up again. Another time after they meet up again, where it's always right place, wrong time. They're star-crossed lovers, and at the end, they end up together because she thinks that he's going to get married, and she makes a play, finds out that like it wasn't him getting married, it was his sister getting married. And like at one point towards the very end, homeboy run up on homegirl, right, who's basically like months into a relationship, and runs up on her and says, Emily, I'm flat broke. I don't have a job. I don't have a plan. And I know I'm probably 6 years too late. Will you give me strike one back? That is what Matt Jackson dropped on Hangman Page. And Page said, hey, you take that shit somewhere else right now. I'm with my friends, my real friends. And I was sitting there like, Matt gonna cry in the car. Matt gonna cry in the car on the way leaving. And I was just laughing at it because I was like, congratulations, you played yourself. I just like
had to take that L in public.
The thing for me is like, because you know me, like I'm not really stuck on like not showing my emotions to people that I actually like care about. So like to see like the toxic masculinity build up in this kind of way to where they're like, you know, it's time to break it and like all the awkwardness, like, nah man, just say that shit and move on. Like, so for me, I'm just like, I thought it was funny and hilarious because like, you know, like in theory, all this shit's been built up in his head of like, I can't say this to him.
How's it gonna go?
Got to the point where it's like, I need to say this to them now. I need to say this to him now so that he can understand before it's too late. And then like, Adam Page is like, bruh, like, if you want to be friends, that's cool. But like, I'm not going to tag with you. Nah, like, I'm with my friends is actually stuck with me as opposed to saying like, you know, whatever. Because all this stuff is just like, you know, it's very melodramatic or whatever else. And I don't mind it being melodramatic. But I just think that like it was embarrassing for Matt Jackson, and I really enjoyed it as far as the comedy part of it. But yeah. You know, they're going to eventually, they will find their way back to each other, and everybody will be happy. So like that's why I'm not like killing it. I just think it's funny to laugh at like look at what he put himself through. But eventually he gonna get her back. You know, in quotation marks. Yeah, and they're gonna have the best makeup sex. But what was your take on it?
I thought this was a very important step in the overall Elite storyline or whatever. Like Matt and Hangman have always had the most visceral kind of beef here. I think Kenny and Hangman has a different dynamic that I think kind of stands on its own. But as far as this, it's like, Matt, they did all this stuff. They kicked him out of the Elite in public. I feel like he had to apologize to the man in public as well. Like, essentially, it's like you had to do this. And
but why did they kick him out?
Well, they kicked him out because he fucked them. But it goes even further back that they wouldn't second him initially. You know, when he was challenging Jericho, or facing Jericho for the championship. So it all kind of goes back there. So. I don't know. Like I'm really into it, and I don't really try to predict what these guys are going to do because it always kind of just like I'm like, oh, okay. You can kind of tell where it's going. Obviously, now we've got the return of possibly Kenny this next week. Who are we kidding? It's him. There's a huge 6-man tag set with the trios tournament bracket. Might as well find that trios tournament bracket. And
if I believe correctly, the top right, it's 8-person tournament. The top left is Death Triangle versus Aussie Open and Osprey. The bottom bottom left is Young Bucks plus. No, I'm wrong on that. I already messed it up. You have it, don't you? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so it is Death Triangle and Aussie Open, and then it is the Bucks and Mystery Partner, which is versus Kenny, Andrade, Roosh, and Dragon Lee.
Right.
And then the right side, it is Dark Order versus the House of Black.
Yep.
And then the Trust Busters versus the Best Friends. So
that right side of the bracket is hella weak.
Yeah. I don't know if there's going to be an angle to put Hangman in this tournament at some point. So who knows? Maybe he replaces, like, he right now he said he's not in the tournament. I don't believe that. I think there's going to be some type of injury to a Dark Order member, like someone's going to run up on Evil Uno or something. He's not going to be able to compete. They're going to ask Hangman to take his spot, and that's how we get the quote unquote strength of
in the middle
on the right side,
in the middle of the tournament, or like before the tournament starts.
Beginning before it starts.
Okay, because I'm about to say, because if they do in the middle of the tournament, I'd be like, how convenient. They can get a motherfucker sub in while all these other guys have to just rough it, huh? Cool. But yeah, if they want to do that, I guess cool, whatever, that's fine.
Like that's my, I think that's my, like, that's how you get the final with Hangman on the other side from the Elite. That's how you do that.
Yeah, but I would say this, like, Dark Order has no, like, if he's just going to be there, like, championing them, or not championing them, if he's going to be, like, basically just, like, managing them and, like, cornering them, whatever else, they have no business getting past the set or getting to the final. No business.
Yeah, I think there's a substitution, and they didn't name people on purpose. I think there's something there, but the Trust Busters have drawn a lot of conversation this week. So the Trust Busters now,
I know what you've been talking about on air. Don't do it. It's gonna come out and bite you on the ass in the long run. Don't do it. I'm telling you now. Don't do it.
I don't know what you're referring to, sir.
Okay.
So
all right, we'll see.
I don't know what you're referring to, but the Trust Busters, new unit put together. Obviously, they originally started on Dark. They were on Rampage this week, and they got introduced last week on Dynamite. There's Parker Boudreaux, who competed as Harland in NXT, Arya Daivari, Slim J, and the newly turned heel Sonny Kiss. So I didn't catch Rampage, but that is kind of an interesting dynamic. A lot of people wanted Sonny Kiss to get a chance somewhere, so here it is. Obviously, Boudreaux is someone that I didn't really watch in NXT 2.0, because why would I watch NXT 2.0? So he has a fresh slate with me, and he's a social media star already. Like, he's taking pictures with everybody, and I think I saw a picture of him and Rick Ross the other day, so that was pretty funny. But yeah, their inclusion is pretty controversial. Everybody's like, well, why are these guys in this tournament here? I think they're losing in round 1 to the Best Friends and fucking off, but I don't know. Is this a waste of a spot?
To me, it feels that way. Like, you see how packed and, like, loaded that whole left side of the bracket is, and then you look at the right side and it's like, well, what are we doing? So, and then you also look at some of the teams that are still available and out there. Like, you could do, Wardlow and freaking FTR. You could do, like, there's a bunch of other tag teams, or trios teams that are out and about in AEW that I feel like are bigger deals or whatever else in the potential trios division has been laid out over the, since the beginning of the company's history. So I just found it weird, that's what they decided to do with it. But whatever, like, if it's just somebody to defeat, it's somebody to defeat. But I would have liked, like, a more like, this doesn't feel like the tag team tournament. Like, maybe I'm mistaken there, but it felt like it was a more loaded field or whatever, or more evenly distributed field where, like, you can have, like, a team like Private Party upset the Young Bucks. I gotta say, like, if Best Friends get upset, they're against it's Best Friends Trust Busters, right?
Yes.
If they beat Orange Cassidy, I would be furious. Do you understand me? Like, so that's what I'm thinking. Like, that's kind of where my logic is on it or whatever else. But if they turn to be good, they're going to be good. Whatever. Like, we'll see. But I think like that's one of those like pin them and move on quickly type of thing.
Yeah. I think Trustbusters is an interesting concept. I'm willing to give it some rope just because of like when we saw Sanjay Dutt, Lethal, and Satnam Singh together, we were like, well, what the fuck is this? And then it turned out to be kind of entertaining.
I'm not writing them off.
Everyone else.
Okay. That's fair. I guess that's fair. Yeah.
When we saw Daniel Garcia in 2.0 last year, what the fuck is this? And it turned out, great. So they've got a little bit of goodwill here with me.
That's another team that could be in here that I'd rather have in here besides.
I believe in the comments they're saying Daddy Magic is injured at the moment, so they're not doing that.
I mean, there's like 40 people in JSA. You can come up with any combination of Garcia, Sammy Guevara, and whoever else. Obviously, you're going to be like, well, Garcia and Kingston are kind of earmarked for pay-per-view or whatever else. But like, there's a number of them. What's Hager doing? Hager's there's no
protected.
There's no reason to have
being
Hager,
protected.
You stupid. There's no reason to have Hager on the roster outside of being in tags anyway. Bring him out.
Yeah. So I feel like it's fairly obvious the winners come from the left side, and all we really need is a good final for them. So maybe that's the way they've gone. There's also been, if you look at some of the AEW tournaments in the past, I want to say like the Eliminator tournament, a lot of them were very obvious what's going to happen. So I think Dark Order is going to the finals personally on the right side, and I think it comes down to the Elite. So one thing I will be interested in to see if there's a semifinal match of Will Ospreay and Aussie Open against the Elite. I'm definitely trying to see Kenny and Ospreay in the ring together. Very excited. I kind of buried the lead there, but the return of Kenny Omega after it's been 9 months, maybe more. Very excited for this. First time he's going to be as close to healthy, I think, as he can claim to be since at least, well, that never goes away, the vertigo, 2017. So really excited to see what he's got in store. They definitely can use him. I think he's kind of been the forgotten man out here. So he's going to roll in with the trios thing here. And I'm going to, hear the battle cry pretty much. Like, what are your expectations for him?
As long as he's in better shape or condition or health than he was before he left, like, he should be fine. Like, he's one of the 5 best wrestlers I've ever seen in my life. Like, and he's like not 45 or old with like if he's even like if he came out. Think of the last match we saw him before he went into surgery. One of the best matches of last year, right? One of the very best matches of last year, right? He's supposedly is healthier now. I think Kenny Omega will be fine. Like, I have no concern for Kenny Omega. It's Kenny fucking Mega. He's not 50.
Yeah, I don't feel like we're really going to see, like, unless he designs it as such, I don't think we're going to be looking at ring rust here. I don't think we're going to be looking at somebody that, like, this is a man I've seen come off the operating table and be back at it in 9 days before. So
wait, do people thinking that he hasn't like taken a bump yet or something?
He's very private and secretive about this recovery. A lot of people have heard nothing. So
well, okay, so. Rich, we live here in Florida. We know like there's a bunch of different places where there are wrestling rings set up all around this state that he could go.
I believe he lives in Orlando as well.
Right. Like I don't think that like he got cleared and then they said we're putting you on TV tomorrow, Chief. Good luck. Like I'm sure he's done some type of training or whatever else, and regardless of whatever it is, it's still Kenny Omega. The mind, like. How long do you think it takes him to get himself back in the ring shape after like wrestling nonstop for, a couple years before that, like a whole decade in Japan? Like, I obviously
2 weeks.
I don't know how this works or whatever else, Like, you know, like I could touch a basketball. I go a couple years without touching the basketball, and after a month touching the basketball, like I'm pretty decent. But I think that like he has got himself to a shape to where he could, you know, do whatever rehab he's doing, and then he started taking bumps and then like he's been watching whatever he's been watching, or thinking about whatever he's been thinking, or looking at whatever he's looked at, and like he'll be fine. Like, I don't think that like this is some concern. Like, I don't think they've like I don't think it's like a football injury where it's like he's been gone for X amount of time and now he's got to go through practice and figure it out necessarily, or not necessarily practice, but like he has to go through and get himself in shape or whatever else. Like, he's in a trios match. He lays all that stuff out with the Young Bucks. He's kind of protected in that way, and he'll get himself some more reps until the pay-per-view. And for the time being, he's going to be in a trios. So, like, he'll be fine.
Hey, man. I will have to be physically restrained if this is a 5-star match next week, because Kenny Omega's in there with Mexicans and the Young Bucks. This is a recipe for success. Don't let him get 5 stars next week.
Oh man, it's gonna be a great match. There's no doubt it's gonna be a great match. Like this is a level of talent in the ring. He had a bunch of like shoulder issues. That was the main thing, was the shoulder, right?
Yeah, the shoulder was the big one.
He'll be fine.
Yeah, got some comments. So, okay, I've been seeing this, and I think it's absolutely ridiculous. For one,
what?
Sir Sam, shout out to Sir Sam, I love him. He says, any chance for Ibushi? He said it's a 1% chance, but would be interesting.
I don't
Kota
think so.
Ibushi doesn't make sense in the storyline to me at all, for one. Kota Ibushi is, one, very injured and probably dealing with the Yakuza. Like,
yeah.
So, in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and it's like, I don't see that as realistic at all. It almost feels like this. Do you remember last year when CM Punk's return was? Everyone was like, well, what if it's something else? It's like, it's not. Like,
yeah.
Can we stop? Like that?
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, and also like while this stuff has been let out the bag about like Ibushi and Kikuchi or whatever else, like the story was that like a lot of that fucking like Golden Lovers Young Bucks merch money like that he was owed did not get to him, but like the Young Bucks got their cut. You think he wants to work with he's like eager to work with the Young Bucks? Like he's probably looking at him like these motherfuckers took my money.
A conversation needs to be had
right.
first.
Right.
Yeah,
so,
MJF should come out to his theme. Exactly. Same thing. Like, remember when CM Punk was coming back?
This is a wrong promotion for all these kind of, all the perverse things that can happen as opposed to like, you actually getting what everyone is expecting. This isn't the promotion that does that. This isn't the promotion that's going to like, months after CM Punk leaves, and then all of a sudden the first time in Chicago, they play the CM Punk music and then Paul Heyman walks out. This isn't that promotion. It's not.
So, back to the show. Luchasaurus versus Anthony Henry. Another squash for Luchasaurus. Still evil. Kind of. Jungle Boy's on commentary.
He's wearing the Oscar stuff.
He's wearing the dark clothes. He's still got the music. So I guess like, you know, he went to the heel music maker, which is the same as the babyface music maker. But he keeps the whole get up going. I was like, why are we doing a Luchasaurus squash? Like I was confused. And then I was like, oh, here we go. Yeah, I was like, here we go. And then Christian's on the Tron. Jungle Boy chase him down. Pat Buck's back there. All security jumps in front of Jungle Boy. 6 dudes to hold back the 150-pound dude. But Luchasaurus comes back, kills all those guys. He gives Pat Buck a headbutt. After that, Miro's talking to doing a promo, and Julia Hart comes up. So, he basically tells her there's only one woman that can put her hands on a Redeemer. And he said he accepts the invitation to the House of Black, but like, does that mean like he accepts the invite to beat their ass, like to redeem them? Like, what's the
part
deal
that
here?
I think people missed is he said we'll get to the other part that I thought was funny, but he said like, I accept their gift, meaning like getting sprayed in the face, but he said I will use it to destroy them. It's like, I've accepted the card has been dealt with, and I'm going to kill y'all. that's not verbatim what he said, but that's basically what he said. It's like, I accept what happened to me, and I'll use it to destroy y'all. He literally said, I'll use it to crush them or crush y'all or crush whatever noun it was, whatever. But okay, so Miro's been in that dark room for doing the Redeemer thing for at times for like a year, right? Very similar to the broom closet with Aleister Black. It's like, how did you know which room it was in whichever building or which portal it was to the dimension that Miro was in? And she showed
these are all things I don't want to think about.
No, I'm just saying, like, I didn't know you could just. I'm obviously going over the top with it, but my whole thing was like, I didn't know you could just pull up on Miro like that. Just like this flat out. I didn't know you could just go to wherever Miro is unannounced. I figured Miro would have a lock on whatever or wherever it's, place he was. I figured that place would be secure. Like, there's no way you get in without calling him first for him to let you in. So whatever.
Why am I forced to think about how did Miro get invaded on? Like get them in the ring. Yeah. I don't give a fuck what they're talking about. Like,
same here. Like, and also like with Brody and with Darby and with Sting and with Malachi. Like, it seems like you've already seen like Miro make a save for Darby, like to stop House of Black from destroying him at one point. Like, that's not, like, why can't I just see Miro and Sting and Darby as a babyface tag team versus House of Black? They've I don't think they've officially teased, but like they've been floating around that kind of match for a while now. That's probably a pay-per-view match. That's probably the pay-per-view match.
Yeah.
Because what else are you gonna do with Darby and Sting? Because Darby and Sting has to be on every single pay-per-view.
So we had Lethal, Dutt, and Satnam out there. Another fresh suit for Satnam. Dutt said that Satnam put Wardlow through a table on Battle of the Belts last Saturday, the Saturday before. Lethal said the message is simple: defend the title against Jay one more time, or they're going to come take it. Wardlow comes out with the belt, says you got it, but tonight Wardlow's going to whoop all three of their asses. Wardlow gets in, and FTR comes out for the save. Big reaction for FTR. They basically run off these guys. So FTR and Wardlow standing tall. James, I remember you had liked the tapestry in this segment.
Yes. Like, Dutt was well dressed. Jay Lethal was well dressed. Singh was well dressed, and the homie Wardlow was well dressed. And I was like, this is like shaping up to be the best dressed segment of 2022 in professional wrestling. And then out comes fucking FTR wearing sleeveless t-shirts and bootcut jeans and whatever the fuck was on their feet. And I was like, you
ruined it, damn it.
Y'all was just in Pinnacle and y'all did the fake JCP horseman shit in front of the private jet. I remember that. That was like a year and a half ago. I remember that. Where are the suits? Did MJF take the suits away from y'all?
They had
y'all couldn't keep y'all suits?
They had to bring them back to JC Penney.
Man, I was just...
Was them suits rented, James?
Maybe they were. I don't know. But I was just like, everybody's dressed nice. Everyone looks like, in the words of my grandma, whenever you wore a nice suit or wore some church clothes or you got a haircut, you look like somebody. Everybody looked like somebody except for them niggas. So I was just like, all right.
I guess the young Bucks would just had to give these boys a raise of some type, and maybe they'll be able to change their situation on the dress. But up next, we had Ricky Starks versus Aaron Solo. These guys were longtime tag team partners and kind of just a story beat for the Hobbs deal. Oh, before that, the Jericho Appreciation Society and Anna JAS were in the back. Anna J says something like I don't know what she said this time, but it was out there.
These promos are good.
Yeah, and then she choked someone out, and it's just like
someone off screen, right?
I think she choked someone off someone off screen, and it is something every week that is drawing conversation.
Is it drawing conversation, or is it drawing conversation in one of our particular chats?
Oh, for sure.
Okay, because let's move on, man. Let's move on.
It's bad.
It's not good, but like I don't think it's like the worst fucking thing ever. It needs to be talked about every single week. But yeah, whatever. To each his own, I guess.
But yeah, we had Rick Starks and Aaron Solo. This was all right. I thought if we're gonna shoot Ricky Starks off to babyfacedom, I would have liked to do it in a more exciting fashion. It's kind of felt like an NWA TV match for me. Kind of an exciting finish on it, though. I liked Solo going for that kick, but Ricky basically ducking it and hitting the big spear. So basically, the Factory's added Cole Carter as well as the rest of the guys. Ricky gets the win, and yeah, short fashion. Not really much here to say.
Yeah, just to clear this up, Sam in the in the chat says drawing conversation in the same way that the quote Jay step on me unquote draws conversation. It was not of that kind of nature. It was that like Anna Jay speaking skills are abysmal type of thing, and like someone was harping on it like just to the highest of degrees, and like it was the worst thing they've ever seen in pro wrestling in their 30 plus years of watching pro wrestling. And I was like, no, it's not that bad. It's just bad. Like, so, but yeah, I don't even remember a single second of this match outside of he got the best
bad
of him
beginning.
And it rolled out the beginning. It rolled out after he won, and then I was confused.
And ran from everybody.
Well,
after that. I know he's outnumbered.
I'm not mad at him. I'm not mad at him escaping, getting jumped. So I'm not mad about that. He won the match, got the fuck out of Dodge. So that was fine by me. And I guess what I'm trying to figure out is the Factory now like are they doing dirty work for Hobbs now, or why was Hobbs slamming the screen? Was he mad that Hobbs that Starks won a match against a guy that he clearly was going to beat?
Yeah, I guess he doesn't want to see the man prosper.
Big hater energy. I can't believe this man. I can't believe this man man won a match that he clearly was going to win. Okay, whatever.
Luthero Negro, Ricky needs to stop listening to all that slow it down, shaboing boy and Factory stuff. Do some moves. Use a baby face.
He was never a moves guy in that way. He was always just a
Where's the babyface moveset, James? We first talked about this with Alberto Del Rio back in the day.
Yes, as far as breaking out more flashy things when you're a babyface. Yes, I don't think that's his necessarily his bag. Like you can be a good babyface without having some type of flashy stuff. Like all you gotta do is work on your fire, your selling, and your comeback stuff and scenarios you put yourself in. Like obviously Darby does crazy shit, but like if you got rid of his crazy shit and just made him just a match specialist, which he could do, like he'd be a fine babyface. Like Daniel Bryan's not Bryan Danielson is not some crazy babyface move guy. He hits you hard. He gets hit back. He sells. He fires up. Like it's not. There's all this types of stuff you could do. I get the whole idea of it, but like I just think Starks is like the kind of promo and likable person to where like he can overcome like whatever this was. But like he has to be in someone in the ring that's like people actually care about. Like this is just a squash type thing.
Up next, we got Billy, who was talking to the Ass Boys, wondering how they could fail in the only match that Billy Gunn made famous.
I laughed.
Stokely showed up. Indeed. Stokely showed up, and it says they got insured for Billy because he's old, and he tries to give Austin Gunn his card. Billy was like, nah, man, get out of here. He said he got them a match on Rampage. Then Danhausen came through, said, you guys are going to see him with a big bearded fellow. So, not really much here. Now that Stokely's frolicking around the Ass Boys trying to recruit them, this unit is looking dire.
Yeah.
Dire.
I will say this, like, if it sets up Billy Gunn leaves for the Acclaim and leaves his sons out there with them, like, I think that's the best case scenario. Like, Billy Gunn is... If this ends up where Billy Gunn is the babyface, like, manager for the Acclaimed, and, like, the Ass Boys are just, like, off with whoever else over there, I think that's the best for the company. I personally do.
I don't think the Acclaim need Billy Gunn at this point. These guys are over.
I don't disagree, but I think every little bit helps. And like him being with his sons, I don't think that really does much for the Ass Boys. It's like, oh, those are Billy's kids.
I don't think they would ever be on screen if it wasn't for Billy Gunn.
I mean, I don't think they should be on screen even with him. But that's not up to me, is it?
Like they don't even get people to look their way without Billy at first, like being there.
Bro, let me go into my bookmarks, because there's a bookmark that I can't wait to use in a few years. Let me see if I can find it. I'm gonna keep scrolling until I find it. So at some point, Dax had said on Twitter, he had found it, from June of this year, June 6th. He said, they're annoying as hell, but if you aren't buying the Ass Boys as a future legit top tag team, it's time to get on board. I got that saved in my bookmarks, and whenever in year 2024, 25, 26, when they're still not a top tag team,
I'm gonna retweet that bitch.
I'm gonna retweet that shit and just put an L on it, because no, absolutely fucking not happening. Not happening. So, like, it don't matter how you dress it up. They're still Colton and they're still Austin, the second generation smoking guns, and it is what it is. Sorry, brother.
Those be the breaks.
Yeah.
So last week I went kind of off on a tirade about the AEW Women's Division. We had Jade Cargill defending against Madison Rayne, and this was not good.
No.
Slow. DJ Screw should have been out there. Coach Madison Rayne, she got to pick a hustle. Either wrestle or coach. Pick one. Because if you're wrestling like this, I don't need you coaching a soul. Pick a side. And I imagine this is what the identity crisis. Do you want to be a knockouts division? Do you want to be the Divas era? Do you want to be as we mentioned on this show, there's no infrastructure to get better. Rain is supposed to be that infrastructure to start development of, I guess her focus is supposed to be on promos and all this other stuff. But I'm like, how about all them learn to work? And she's 0-2 right now. And if you're a coach, part of being a coach is being there with inexperienced people like Layla Gray, like Jade Cargill. Can you get it to passability? She could not. And she, quite frankly, she didn't look like the superior wrestler in the match.
She didn't. So, I guess what my question is, how much to buy out Asuka, Io, or a Horsewoman's contract? How much?
Is this including the tax of doing it, or just a number? You got to throw that fuck you tax on there, right?
Sure, throw the fuck you tax on there. How much how much is the transfer fee?
$5 million.
Why haven't they paid it already then? What the fuck are we doing, man? Why am I watching this? This wasn't a good match at all.
This was horrible, man.
Bro, okay. The first night of the Grand Prix, I know it's Japanese women's pro wrestling compared to American women's pro wrestling. It is not apples to apples. I get it. I fucking get it. How fucking ever. Jade Cargill is a star that actually draws attention when she's on screen. It's been proven. It is what it is. She's out here with a woman that has had numerous opportunities on television in America. And this match is like, this is like one of the worst matches you would have seen on a Stardom show at any point this year. Like, I know, I thought it was funny. Dave Meltzer, in an Observer recently was talking about, women's wrestling, talking about like the top of Stardom or whatever. The top of matches are blow the roofs off of anywhere other promotion in America is off, but like the matches at the bottom are worse. And I'm like, where, what fucking, name me a match you've seen in Stardom that was worse than this. That was an actual match that wasn't like an opener with fucking 14-year-olds at the time.
Fuck that. We have seen Hannon come out here in these openers for the whole year.
Yeah.
Smoke this match.
Yes.
This teenager who just turned 18 this past week or so has smoked this match.
Yes.
Put it in a left pack and a right pack. And it's just like, why are they committing themselves to this mediocrity?
Especially, and the thing is, like, it's not even like, oh, this is the best they got. They have so many good women's wrestlers. How much longer are we going to hold off on, like, the Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter thing? How much longer are we going to hold off on, like, Athena and Jade Cargill? Like, what the fuck? Are we like Kanye back in Rockefeller? We're saving all the good, and he's saving all the good matches for himself. Like, what the fuck is going on?
Like, I know you have like
we can't
your pay-per-view matches that you don't want to blow, but like, yo, can they do like some 6-woman tags? Can do some tags?
Yes,
shit like that to like at least raise the Mendoza line for this shit, right? Like, like if your deal is you want to protect matches anyway, right? Then why not just protect the wrestlers too while we're at it?
Yeah. Oh, and the best part was finding out that this match started at 9:20, right? The 9:20 death slot that people talk about.
Yes.
It did a better rating than the tag match between Thunderstorm and Britt and Jamie from the week before that started at 8:30. And that match was actually a good ass match.
Very funny, indeed. I don't know what to make of that.
It's a one-off weird thing, but it's like when people talk about like the death slot is what like, really kills people. That's not.
No,
in this particular case, in this particular week, it was not. So now what?
Yeah. I'm not pleased with this whole Coach Madison Rayne thing, just because it's like, what was she doing in pro wrestling before this?
Okay, so you know what's always hard about
like wasn't Serena Deeb already a coach or no?
I don't know. Look, I don't know who is a coach's whatever else. I outside of knowing that like a particular player's coach would be someone like Dustin, and we got Jerry Lynn back there helping in some capacity. I don't know the infrastructural things for AEW. I just watch the shows, and if it's good, it's good. If it's not, it's not. And I don't know that much, right? Like I don't even know what Arn's doing right now. No idea. But I just didn't understand. Oh, I know what I was going to say. So I'm going to shoot Madison Rayne some bail, right? Like when it comes to the coach thing, like I don't know if that's actually an indicator of what she is doing as far as causing being overwhelming. I'm sorry, a general overall good or a harm for AEW as far as that, because like you know how it is when it comes to coaching in sports, right? The only thing we can tell when it comes to sports is we don't know if anyone's a good teacher or if they're a good in-game strategy. And the only thing you can tell is the in-game strategy by whose implementation of timeouts and in-game strategy. And that's the only thing we can tell. We don't know who's good at teaching things and player development. We have no idea. So we won't know until weeks and months or whatever else from now or whatever else if she's been a net positive or whatever else for it. I don't even want to get into that. I just want to talk about the part where like she was on TV and her match sucked. That's all I care about. If she's a great teacher, she'll be a great teacher. All I know is this match she was out here with Jade Cargill sucked. And it was not necessarily like Jade has been this awful wrestler at all times. And this is one of her worst matches. So do with that what you will.
Like, I've seen Jade Cargill go out there with Anna Jay before, and them like have like a 3.25 match before. So like, where's that? Shivani then announced that Chris Statlander was injured. She's torn her other ACL, James. She was set to win the TBS title at Grand Slam. That was the plan.
Really?
Yep.
Huh. Okay.
So like they were going to do it. Big New York win for her. She's going to win in her hometown. She's from Staten Island or something like that. Or Long Island, one of the two. And she was going to end the streak. And basically they announced that Toni Storm is the new number one contender. And Rosa and Storm acted awkward about it. So Tony's right back there. I don't think Toni would be the worst option to go with here.
Wait, so is Toni going for Jay's title or for Thunder Rosa's title?
Probably Thunder Rosa, since they put her on screen like with her there. So
what does... Wait, so Statlander was going to beat Jade?
Eventually, yeah.
Okay. I don't know, that match should be really good. So I want to... They had that match at Forbidden Door, right?
They did.
Yeah, and that match was just good. It wasn't like some really good match, but they should probably have a better match. So, doesn't bother me. I'm up for it. It'll be better than what we just saw between Jade and Madison Rayne.
Well, you guys know what time it is. It is main event time. And man, in February, I came on this show. Let me show y'all the shirt that I got on. This is a Chris Jericho shirt that I have on, everybody. Had to show the Twitch stream. I came on this show and I said, never count out Chris Jericho. I then pontificated in one of the groups in March. I was like, Jericho's getting a title shot this summer. And that came to fruition as well. Ended up with a title shot. He rebuilt the physique. He's been awesome this entire year. And I'm going to start the agenda now. He might not win it, right? I think there's somebody else that has the pole position. But you cannot, I don't care who you are, you cannot deny this man is a Wrestler of the Year candidate. Chris Jericho has been phenomenal on promos. He has built another unit around him. He's been incredible on pay-per-view. He now has a championship match with Moxley. This match fucking ruled. I lost my mind watching this match just because, Lionheart came out. He came out, I believe, to his ECW music, so he didn't quite get the WCW music like I wanted, but it's close enough. I saw, I think it was JJ Williams did an edit of, Jericho with the overdub of the music I wanted, and he came out with the Lionheart tights, the kind of like mock up of them. Came out, had the hair kind of wrapped up a little bit, and James, this was just a hard hitting technical war. These guys were bleeding. One of them was bleeding the real way, which is Jericho, and it was like there was a hole in his head.
He got hard way on an exposed turnbuckle, didn't he?
Yeah, It was like a hole in his forehead. That shit was pouring out as he put the Lion Tamer on at the end. It was really coming out badly. They were like, Jericho was taking it back, to his old days. Mox was incredible in this match too. This is one of my favorite matches of the year. I thought this was incredible. 4 3/4 for me, and this was just like, I love the finish. It really felt like tense. I didn't expect Jericho to win. I'm not out of off my rocker or anything. But this was just like all the belief that I ever had in Chris Jericho felt like it paid off in this match, this whole year that he's been building up, doing this awesome work, and sticking it to people who wanted him to leave the business and all this stuff. And and Moxley, the year he's had, you pull up his cage match, it is filthy this year. This is another match to add on his, but this was just like, I thought it was great. It got it got the proper time. It didn't feel shortchanged. It didn't feel rushed. I felt like I got off a roller coaster when I saw this match. And this was just a never doubt Chris Jericho moment. And I don't know if I don't think he'll ever be the champion again, right? But this was damn close. This was as good as it felt. I think this blew away their first match. And I think just people like niggas forgot about Jericho, like what he can do. And this guy's 51 years old and he's not washed. Like, he's like constantly reinventing in real time. And I don't think people respect that man for doing this. He's not a nostalgia act. He doesn't want to wrestle the old guys. He wants to like wrestle the guys that are pushing the game forward today, and still like use him being Chris Jericho to blend with that to create new memories. He's not ripping off wrestlers from the past. Like, he's got his own. I know obviously he pulled out a nostalgia trick tonight, right? Like, he pulled out Lionheart Chris Jericho.
That's fine. Right? That's fine. He's ripping. If he's gonna rip off anybody, you can rip off yourself.
Yep.
What the fuck? But no, how dare you go out there and do the shit that you actually did? Like, what? That's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine.
It's like I know he looked to his past, but the past basically allowed me to see, like, when I saw that guy in 1996, I saw a top star, even though WCW didn't. And then I saw the fucking Lionheart walk out there as a top star to this day. And that shit was a great moment for a lot of Chris Jericho fans. And I think people need to, quite frankly, be thanking Chris Jericho a lot more than they do.
I thought it was a great match. I thought it was one of the best matches of the year that I've seen. So like, I would give it 4.5 stars. As far as like the 4 and 3, whatever else, it's up for debate. I think that, like, from a work rate perspective, is not there at that level. But from from everything else and all the stuff around it and what you saw as far as the drama, I thought they told a hell of a story and had a hell of a match. Like, if I was going to compare this to anything I've seen recently, I would compare this a lot to like the Kaito Kiyomiya versus Muta match. As far as just like, it's not about the moves, man. It's about the drama and the selling and the intensity and like the back and forth and, the roller coaster of emotion in what they do. Another match I'd throw in there, in that particular case in a different way, is not nearly on that level, was like the Tanahashi and Evil match that they had in the G1, where it's like, it's Evil. You're not finna get, some Matt classic, but like, you bring the elements he has, and like to see like Tanahashi like overcome 3 of these evil motherfuckers, evil doers, and it was just like, yes. That's what that is what storytelling is. Good triumphs over evil. Even 103, fuck them, we ball. Yes. So yes, in that perspective, like, I love this match. And I mean, it might be my favorite singles Chris Jericho match in AEW. It might be. I'd have to go over to think about it, because I really did love Moxie's first match with all the storytelling and the eye patch and tricking Jericho at the end and all that kind of stuff. In that program they built through it, and even the match and the story in the match. But like, I think this match does top that, though. This match does top that. But I have to think about the other stuff, because Jericho's had a few bangers, and like even the Kingston match. I probably like the Kingston match, probably like a better match on a rewatch type of thing. But I probably liked this match more too. So like, yeah, he's had a hell of a year for a 51-year-old dude that is like, keeps finding ways to like adjust his game for the decline of like athleticism and aging and whatever, and health and whatever's going around with him. Like, he is.
This man came off the fucking deathbed, James.
Yeah. Like, it's interesting to see, like, this match between Moxley and Jericho, given that, like, I remember me and Josh Smith from Keepin It Strong Style was talking about, like, he was saying, like, yeah, man, Jericho just too, his conditioning, because of, his lifestyle with the drinking, like, it just doesn't seem like he's going to have to switch that up. And I was like, there's nothing to suggest he's going to switch it up. And then he had the health scare and he had to switch it up. And like, he's lighter and he's able to do more. He's able to, kind of get a lot of it back. Right. And like Moxley, this whole year reminds me of like when he showed up in the G1 and it was like, he had got himself in that incredible shape, to be able to go through it and withstand a G1 and, had a match with Ishii and all that kind of stuff and how he felt great, all that kind of stuff. And then like, you saw him, like, just get, like, bulkier and, and then he shows up and, like, he's in that kind of G1 shape all over again. Except, like, he's not, like, getting done and, like, worrying about, like, alcohol withdrawal anymore. Like, he's in that shape, plus like he's not drinking, and like I feel like his just like endurance and his ability to like keep a pace is just like the best it's ever been. And like he's killing it this year. He really has. And I've seen him even in some of these garbage matches that I would never watch. People love those matches or whatever else. But just like him in the ring this year, like it's he's killed it. And this is not some person I thought was going to be out here as I don't know whether you say legitimate or fringe, most outstanding performer level wrestler, but like the proof's in the pudding so far this year with him. I mean, I have to look up Ospreay to see like how that matches up as far as like number of great matches he's had around the world, but like he has to be up there. Like I looked and he's had like 14, like 8 or above on cage match, which is like that's doing some damage. He's killed it this year. He absolutely has, and happy for him. Happy for both of them. And like, they really enjoyed it because like they're friends or whatever else. So like, yeah, I'm sure they, I don't think they'll do the Kenny Omega and Jericho thing where they talk about and break down the match or whatever else on podcast form. But I'm sure they're proud of that one. I'm sure they are.
They definitely should be. And I was very happy to see that. And then I don't often get on the edge of my seat watching wrestling. I would say a couple times a year it happens for me. I'm really invested in something. It just, you watch wrestling for years and years and you kind of like know where things are going. And it was like that wish that maybe something was going to happen. Like maybe Chris Jericho was going to win. Maybe he's going to find a way against conventional wisdom, against booking logic, and knowing where everything's going. And
politics
yeah,
to the belt.
I kind of just allowed myself to fall into what they were doing. And bro, when he pulled back and then he lifted his head up and it was all the blood, I was like, oh my God! Like I was completely done there. It was great. Loved this match. But after that, broke into a big brawl. A frolic. The Jericho Appreciation Society came out, started whooping some ass. BCC ran down to try to run them off. And then it kind of cleared around. And then all of a sudden, we heard the TV. And then CM Punk shows back up, runs off the rest of the JAS. Jericho cleanly taps in the middle, by the way, for those who don't think he wants to put people over for some reason.
You know how many times he's tapped out the people clean in the middle? Like some of the best like tap out finishes I've seen have come from Jericho.
Yeah, that's amazing. So from there, Punk and Moxley go face to face. Mox has had this whole thing where he's not the interim champion. He's very insulted by CM Punk's presence. It looks like he grabs his belt. They go face to face, and it feels big time. It feels like these guys are going to have a lot to say to each other. We should get some incredible promos. I don't think Jon Moxley is going to let this fail. I don't think CM Punk really has to worry about being athletic in this match. he can do, I would advise him to let Moxley lead the way. And it's champion versus champion, presumably at All Out. This feels like a really big time match. And I don't care which way they go. I think Moxley's just been great this year, and it kind of feels like his time. And I could, if CM Punk's going to keep it, I think he needs to
turn heel.
Yep.
Okay, he turns heel with the belt, is what you're saying, right?
Yep.
Turns heel with the belt. Who does he face at, let's say, what are the scenarios for like who he faces in programs after that?
He could fight Eddie Kingston at Grand Slam and beat him. He can face.
You want to beat Eddie Kingston in Arthur Ashe?
Or drop it to him. I don't give a fuck.
No,
like I don't.
You can't do that. But I was just saying like that. The company normally doesn't book down that big of downers like that, you know. So I was kind of like, that's, you know, I was surprised that you said it. That's all.
Yeah. I don't know. The match is in Chicago, so it probably would be hard to turn CM Punk heel there. But I feel like you know, it's babyface versus babyface. I don't know. It's a tough call. I don't know which way they're going to go, and I think there's arguments for both of them. Obviously, Tony likes to stick to his plans, hence the creation of the interim title. CM Punk never lost it. They could just, you know, put it back on him and let him go forward. But I think Mox has been campaigning very strongly this summer, stepping into main events when CM Punk was not able to compete when he was injured, and he's just been, you know, there. You know, maybe he can fight Bryan Danielson, like CM Punk. We got some suggestions: Kenny, Ricky Starks, Bryan Danielson. So, I think you can do a Punk and Danielson match at some point. I would love to see it. I don't know when they do Kenny and Punk, but that's massive.
That's something they have to do.
Yeah, I think you would. I don't think there's a reason to rush that, and if you need to get Punk some defenses first, I think you do that first rather than just immediately the next thing you do, because it's like you're blowing through a lot of shit that way. You can kind of stretch that out. Yeah. As far as Starks, you could sacrifice him and see what he has at the top.
And this is all regarding like if Punk is a heel, right?
Yes.
Okay.
There's I don't know. I would have to look at their babyface list because they have tons of babyfaces.
Yeah, they have way more babyfaces than top babyface and top heels. Yeah. I just think that, look, if it were me, I would bite the bullet and just have Moxley win. But I think that regardless of however people feel about the Hangman thing at the time or whatever else, CM Punk has been a great babyface in the company since he's been back in, or not back, but been in AEW. And that was even still continuing. He just got hurt. So, like I said, I don't think there are bad options out here outside of like some type of fuck finish, or some convoluted, controversial finish. Like, as long as you get a clean finish in the middle of the ring, like, I think you're going to have people walk away at least like either happy or being like, I respect it at least. That's working in good. That's working in good faith anyway, because you know you can't take trolls and bots, you know, seriously. But
I think Moxley's going to hit Punk with some of that real, and he's going to swing a lot of people to his side. We can go back to CM Punk's first day in the company. That same show, Mox is in those halls talking about all these people that want to walk in after, you know, he paved the road and made this a safe place to be, you know, to show up to. Like, there's going to be, I don't know if CM Punk necessarily got a good counter for that. Like, he can say, you know, I did this stuff before.
Anything.
Yeah,
like,
I did this stuff before, but like, this is a new day, man. Like,
look, I understand there's going to be a bunch of people that are going to be on the, you know, my favorites from when the show started in 2019 are now being replaced and shit. And like, you're entitled to your opinion on that. I'm not finna say you're wrong or anything like that, because you're not wrong. You're entitled to your opinion. I just don't care. Like, if you do good work, you do good work, and I don't hold any grudges on this person deserves a lifetime spot or whatever else at a certain level because they were here first. I don't care. But yeah, I think that like either way, they're going to do good work and they're going to do good business. And like, this is one of the like programs that like when CM Punk showed up, I was like, I can't wait for Moxley and Punk in whatever capacity they have it in, because like there's so much to play off of the, you could talk about the Shield stuff if you want to. You could talk about like, I'm a new person. You could talk about the like, like you mentioned, like I was here and now you showed up and you're here because of the stuff that I was doing in this company. And I made you want to come out of retirement. Like I inspired you to get off your ass. Like, you talk about all that kind of stuff. And look, I'm with it. I want to see it. I want to see what CM Punk responds with, because all the stuff that like MJF hit him with, he brought it right back up and said, yeah, because and talked about like his journey and all that kind of stuff. And I thought he was a great baby face doing all that kind of stuff. Like, it's really hard out to box CM Punk into some corner as far as a quote unquote debate or promo debate thing. Like, it's not. He's really fucking good. So like, this is going to be some of the best promos we're going to see all year. I can't fucking wait. We got 3 more episodes of it until we get the pay-per-view. And like, I don't know if I doubt it's going to do like what All Out did, because that's like the gold mark or whatever you want to call it for a pay-per-view, but like, it's going to have a huge buy rate. Period. It's going to. It's champion versus champion. One person was like the biggest star and left. Another person took over took that spot as a replacement and absolutely knocked it out the park. This is the best case scenario. Congratulations. Like, I can't wait to see it.
Do you see why all the arguments against the interim title were stupid now, people?
People get hung up on the small details, but like, regardless of whatever they were going to do, call it interim, don't call it interim. Eventually they were going to have Jon Moxley versus him, title versus title, regardless. Who gives a shit what it's called?
Amazing.
Like, no, I mean, seriously, like, right? Like, Shawn Michaels didn't want to do a job. He didn't want to do a job. And Razor Ramon became champion, and then they did Shawn Michaels versus Razor Ramon on a fucking ladder, right? Did that not happen? Would we have remembered that match any less fondly if they had called Razor Ramon the interim champion until he pulled down both straps? I don't fucking think so. Who cares?
I've seen the U.S. championship in New Japan this year be or not be held by like 4 different guys, and it was just something nobody seemed to give a fuck about at all.
Right.
Like, and who's the real champion? And I recall the last year's Wrestle Kingdom build involved Will Ospreay pulling out a belt he never lost at a certain point. In Okada deciding to randomly start carrying a belt instead of a briefcase. Like, what the fuck are we doing here, man? Like, it is only a problem in this promotion. Stop the cap. Enough.
Yeah. Yeah, I never cared. It didn't matter. It didn't. Like, I don't know how to break it to people. Like, there's so much, it's so much stuff that's just useless. Like, chat is like, or discourse, if you will. Yeah, the word's discourse. Yeah. And it's like, who cares? Who cares? Like, I understand why you think it's interesting or just a thing to talk about, but it's like, this is kind of stuff where I'm out on. Like, it's not really interesting. It's just a rhetorical thing because like, we're wrestling Twitter. That's what's to talk about today. Like, let's move on. The interim thing, like, it makes perfect sense. It's in other sports. Like, it's sports entertainment. It's pro wrestling, which is built off of the back of sports. It happens in actual fights, in actual fighting federations where people go down, they take the belt off, they give someone else the interim title, and then eventually, if the person gets healthy enough, if they haven't been ducking fights that the federation wanted them to fight in, they get their chance to get back to their belt. And then eventually fight and determine who's the real, quote unquote, real champion is. That's been happening in fighting and fake fighting for over 100 years. Why would naming the interim thing now become a thing? Who gives a shit? eventually you set someone in place to be basically a pseudo number one contender right there, and there's a match built. It's an easy ass story. I never understood it. Never did.
Yeah, and now we have a very hot match. John Moxley versus CM Punk. Can't wait. James, you watched the G1 in binge style fashion. First, yes, I want to ask, why do you do this to yourself? Because this isn't the first time you've done this.
No,
let's be clear. You choose this life every year. You're like, you know what?
Not every year.
2 whole days.
Not every year. Not every year. But okay, so I have a lot of time on the weekends, discretionary time on the weekends, to be able to do what I want to or whatever else, right? So when I get myself a weekend, I say, how am I going to waste it and not be productive? Shane doesn't love himself tragic stuff.
Comment section packing James up tonight.
Oh my god. Okay. I do love myself, by the way. I love myself enough to do the things that I want to do, right? So, like, basically what happened was, and we've talked about this all year with New Japan, and also last year with New Japan, like, we just opted out of New Japan, like, last year, right? Didn't really watch anything after Wrestle Kingdom, really, right? And I was like, that sucks. But anyway, for me, hold on. No, that was 2 years ago. I was about to say, the evil thing ran us off, more or less, right? So, we used to watch Wrestle Kingdom and all that kind of stuff, and then we were like, let's get back into it, and then, like, eventually, like, we just come around and it starts stacking up, and you're like, it's insurmountable, there's no point of even watching. So, for me, it was like, I had a free weekend, and, like, I had myself a free Friday, and I was like, if I had X amount of time, I could go through all this stuff. And also I thought to myself, like, it's not 90 matches. It's 80 something, 84. It's 84 matches, right? So I was like, I wonder if I could do this. So 2020, I binge watched over a whole entire weekend, like, all but, like, the first 8 shows, something like that, or 5 shows, like, that last half of shows for the G1. I did that before. So I had experience of, like, knowing, like, all right, I could do this or I couldn't do it. But, like, I realized, like, okay, less matches. At the time, I was like, there's only 4 matches on a card. I give myself breaks or whatever else. And I ended up watching the stuff. So then it got to, like, after, like, week or episode or show 9 and went back to 5. I was like, oh no. It's like, oh no. But I was able to grind and get it done with. But anyway, like, I miss watching New Japan Pro Wrestling. Like, regardless of whatever we have with our issues with, like, the roster being older or like a lot of matches being worn out or whatever else, like, it's a lot of really good ass wrestling, and, like, they were going to have, like, a killer block like the C block that I wanted to see. So I started watching stuff, went through it, and, like, I enjoyed it for the most part, all that kind of stuff. Obviously, a Fale match comes on, a Yano match comes on, an Evil match comes on, a Yujiro match comes on, and I'm just like, oh god, this is gonna suck. And for the most part, I was right. But, like, I hadn't seen a lot of people like Aaron Anare, hadn't seen really much of Great Khan, hadn't seen much of Tom Lawler, for example, right? Someone that, like, I've seen in Strong a few times, but, like, and know him through, like, listening to Filthy 4 on Observer. I was interested in a lot of stuff. Wanted to see what Jonah looks like in Japan now that he finally got his wish to go to Japan after he wanted to be in Japan forever. And I liked him when he was Bronson Reed in NXT. And also, one of the reasons why we stopped covering NXT is was that week when they fired him. So I was interested to see a lot of people and how they were going to do. Archer back in New Japan, that was also an interesting thing to look at. And, like, I really enjoyed watching this whole tournament. I enjoyed getting caught up, and also, like, I wanted to be, like, able to get to this point, watch it, be able to get the ratings out and see, like, missing out on, like, a tournament like that. You get to see some of the best matches of the year and that sort of thing. and I saw a few of them, and like I just wanted to do it, and I was happy, and I had the time, and so I did it, and like we're here now. So what do you want to go over? You want to talk about the best matches, favorite matches, or do you want to talk about like get to the end of playing scenario for the blocks? What do you want to do?
Who have been like your kind of top guys in this thing, and who have been your low guys?
Okay, so the top guys for me would be the people you expect: Shingo, Ospreay. Well, the top two, like in a tier to their own, in my opinion, would be Ospreay, who he's 5 matches in. He has 1 match coming this morning, but only 1 match wasn't 4 stars, and that was naturally the match with Yujiro. But he was able to get, in my opinion, 3 1/4 out of Yujiro. But everything else is like 4 stars or above. Then the next match, or the next person after that would be Ishii. I thought Ishii had a great tournament like he always does. 5 matches, 4 of them 4 stars, and 3 of them I gave 3 1/4. So, I'm sorry, 4 1/4. So I thought he killed it as well. And then there were also like people that like I thought stepped up to compared to the last time I saw them. For example, like I thought Naito in 2020 in the B block, I thought that he was a lazy fucker and he pissed me off a lot. And I thought in this particular block, I thought that he was excellent. I thought that like every match he had, except for the Evil match that I thought I fucking hated, I thought that he was great in every single match. I think every single match he had, except for like every match except for like the Tohanari match and the Evil match, I gave 4 stars to or better. And then like even the Tohanari match, it was an undercard match, and I gave it 3 1/4. But like the Evil match that people are somehow giving like 3 1/2 or 3 1/4 or 3 3/4 to, I need to get the fuck out of here. It's the same shitty match they've always had to each other ever since Evil was in Bullet Club. It always sucks. It's always long. It's always a slog. It sucked. But outside of that, Evil was great in this tournament.
The Tetsuya Naito versus Evil feud, the feud that like, just keeps on giving.
Yeah. Like, I never want to see them in the same block ever again. I never want to see them wrestle again.
We're stuck with it for whatever reason, James. The Japanese fans love it, you know.
Do they?
I don't know. This is just what people say.
Okay. Like I thought our Japanese brothers is like good wrestling. So like I thought that Okada for the block he was in the being in there with Yano and Fale in the same block, putting that together, and some of the limitations you have being in the monster block with a Jeff Cobb, a Jonah, a Lance Archer. I thought that he did well. Like I thought that his match with Cobb was excellent, like it always is. I thought that his match with Jonah and I think it was a main event. I thought that match was fantastic. So yeah, like I thought that like the people that you normally were great, and I thought that person I didn't want to give out 2 people in particular that I want to give a special shout out to, like as the fringe MVPs, if you will. Hiroki Goto and Yoshihashi. Bishamon kicked ass in this tournament, bro. Like, so, Goto.
Tell me the boys worked that Forbidden Door pre-show and got heard them cheers. They knew he was watching.
So, Goto, he faces Evil tonight or this morning, right? He had a 4-star match with Naito. 4-star match with Saber. No, hold on. 4-star match with Aaron Hanare, actually. In my opinion, obviously. And like 1 match I ended up giving 4 1/4, but could have been 4 1/2. Like his match against Tanahashi, where like Tanahashi at the end gives him that big slap and he splits open Goto's lip. And like it plays into the story where like, you know, that slap at one point a few years ago broke his jaw. So like the commentary picks up immediately. His lip is split. He's gushing everywhere, and he continues with the match. And it's so dramatic and it's awesome. And like that might be a 4.5 star match. It was incredible. I mean, Goto ends up winning and he stays alive. And like, I thought that Goto, like, and also once you get towards the very end of it, like he starts commentary puts over this story about like how, like, he's dedicating, like trying to win the G1 to his son. It's just great, just sports. So like, yeah. And then, you know how Yoshihashi gets down. Like, it's crazy that like this dude, you know, he's one of the most overrated wrestlers in the world, but like, and I get it, like, he's not, if you're looking for charisma, if you're looking for, like, star presence. Underrated? Sorry?
Did you mean underrated?
Yeah, I mean underrated, my bad.
Okay.
If you're looking for, like, star presence, you're looking for charisma and fire, he doesn't necessarily give you that, but what he will give you is fire-ass matches. So, him and Shingo, 4 1/4, one of the best matches of the tournament, one of the very best matches of the tournament. Match with El Phantasmo, 4 stars. Match with Ospreay, one of the very best matches of the tournament. I gave it 4 1/4. He just consistently kept coming forward and like really outside of, I want to say, the Yujiro match, which of course is Yujiro, he just had a fantastic showing left and right. So yeah, that's the positives.
How about Tomohiro Ishii and what some say could be his final G1?
I mean, you know, Ishii's, by the end of this, with the match he has with Sonata this morning, he's going to end up being either number 1 in my overall like average star ratings for this tournament. Is going to be him or Ospreay. It's going to come down to those two. Those two are on a tier of their own. He only won one match in this tournament, which is like, I get it, but like the idea that like they're going to move on from this is like he has everybody's. I have to look. Let me pull up and look real quick, but I'm pretty sure, in my opinion, he had everybody's best match. He had Taichi's best match. He had Jay White's best match, which, you know, he's done that before in G1s. He had Tama Tonga's best match. And he had Chase Owens' best match. Yeah, like, yeah,
I've only heard you mention his name like one time. How about the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion? Like, how was he during this whole thing?
Jay White wasn't bad. I like Jay White in this tournament way more than I did in 2020. And when I just like, oh my god, it's the same shit over and over and over. And like I was like, you know, on those binges, I was also like, you know, fast forwarding until like the bell rings. I fast forward until I get to the part where he actually locks up or attacks somebody. Like I still did the same thing, but like. I thought he wrestled with less of the bullshit and like the constant interference with Gato in his matches. So like I thought he wrestled well. Like I think 4-star match here, 3-3. Yeah, like the lowest match I have on him is 3 1/4, and that was against Chase Owens. Everything else is 4.5 and up. So I thought he had a really good tournament. Yeah, like he actually like. Is like, you could say if you wanted to, he's a fringe MVP candidate. I wouldn't, but if you want to, you can say that. And I'm obviously, you know, that's to my taste. So compared to everybody else thinks, like, I think a lot of people like, for example, like Saber's tournament a lot more than I did. Like, but I still like thought Saber was like a metronome. Like every match I gave like 3 3/4 to, except for the match where he squashed Evil. And I know some of those matches
5 stars or. He squashed Evil, so that was 5 stars or. Like,
I mean, it's a 5-star squash, yeah. Like, because you know, like, look, talk about a bad matchup. He's like, just as far you think, like, all right, they got 15 minutes, and you got to fill out 15 minutes. What is a 15-minute Zack Sabre Jr. Evil match gonna look like? That could be a disaster. Take your ass out there, pin him with the European clutch, get the fuck out of there real quick. Loved it.
Take us through the scenarios.
Okay, so night 18, 2 matches each block, and that closes out the blocks. There are obviously possible play-in scenarios for I guess Wednesday's show where like if there's a multiple way tie, people have matches to then determine who makes it to the semifinals. I think there's only like one actual scenario that could happen where it could be a possibility. Like the D block is a mess. Like everybody has 6 points, and then and then the people that don't have 6 points could get the 6 points by the end of this morning. So I don't think there's going to be a 7-way tie for the D block. I'm not going to go through all that. I'm not Chris Samsa. I'm not Chris Charlton. I'm not going to go through all that. I'm giving you through like the scenarios that could probable to happen. So, given the card, they start with the D block. The D block starts with Ospreay versus Juice Robinson. Ospreay has 6 points. Juice has 4 points. The next match after that is Shingo versus ELP. Shingo has 6 points, and Shingo also beat Ospreay. He has tiebreaker over Ospreay. And ELP has 4. So, Shingo, he'd be the person in front right now with 6 points. He just needs to beat ELP, or tie ELP, and he advances. Or he needs to tie Ospreay, or tie ELP, and Ospreay needs to lose. Or tie, versus Juice. Ospreay, to get in, he needs to win or tie, and Shingo needs to lose. He needs to win, and he needs to win, Ospreay needs to win, and Shingo needs to tie or lose. And then after that, it could just turn into chaos where, like, if they both lose, like, Ospreay and Shingo both lose, then it could turn into multiple tiebreaker scenarios. I'm not going through that. I don't even know how that works out, but it could be literally a 7-way tie with, like, everybody at 6 points, and it's rock, paper, scissors times 2. Not going through all that. It's nonsense. It better not happen. It better not. So the next block after that will be C block. First match is Goto versus Evil. Next match is Naito versus Saber. Saber is the high man at 8 points. He has a win over Goto. He has a win over Evil. He faces Naito, like I mentioned. He controls his own destiny. All he has to do is win and tie, and he advances. But if he doesn't, next person after that would benefit from his person he's facing. Naito, if he gets a win over Saber, he matches him in points, and he would need Goto to also tie or lose against Evil. Goto's in a weird 3-way tie situation. That's the only way he can advance is on a 3-way tiebreaker, where, like, he turns into rock, paper, scissors, because Goto beat Naito, but he lost to Saber. And so if Saber loses to Naito, they all be on the same, all on 8 points, and they all be rock, paper, scissors, where I beat you, you lost to me, I beat you, you lost to me. They
be out there pointing at each other.
Right, you know? Yeah, like the Spider-Man meme, yeah. So, I don't know what the second or third tiebreaker will be for a 3-way tie like this. All I know is it better not be no convoluted shit like cumulative block match time where, like, Saber wins because he squashed Evil. That will fucking suck. Like, he's gonna lose to Naito and then still advance. That would suck. That just would suck. So, okay, so, and then we get to the very easy, in other blocks, right? So, B block next is Ishii versus Sonata. That match should be great. And Tama Tonga versus Jay White. Tama Tonga versus Jay White is the match. That's the only thing that matters. Jay White is undefeated in the block. He's 5-0. Tama Tonga is 4-1. Tama wins. He ties him in points, and he gets a tiebreaker. He advances. If Jay White wins or if he ties, he just advances easily right through.
I think Tama Tonga is going to win that.
I mean, it's an easy way to set up a pay-per-view or a big show match later in the year before it put it in between.
Yep.
Yeah. I was thinking like they were going to do that, like you get the champion through, and then you do a match like that or something. The point, but it could happen. It's also a good way to avoid, because it's a B block. It avoids like who we think is potentially going to be the winner in the A block. But we'll get to the A block now. So, first match, Fale versus Jonah. That's just there.
It has competing.
They just competing to compete, right? Very similar to Sonata
getting a workout,
in Ishii, right?
Breaking a sweat.
Yeah, like obviously the Ishii and Sonata is like to have a great match. I don't think that the Jonah and Fale is going to be a great match. But the last match is Okada versus Archer. Okada's 4-1. He has 8 points. Archer has 6 points. So obviously Archer has to win to get the tiebreak, to get to 8 to tiebreak with to get the tiebreak over Okada to win, and then all Okada has to do is either tie or win, and he's into the next round. So the way I'm seeing it, for me looking at it, I think Okada gets through, obviously, because he's also closing the show. Like, I don't think Lance Archer's closing at Budokan Hall. I don't think. Do you think that's going to happen? You think he's going to close the sign off promo in Budokan Hall? I don't think so.
Yeah. I don't know. You know.
I mean, that is true. This is the same company that gave me Evil as IWGP double champion. Get the fuck out of here. But
TK could have been like, you can have Lance. So what are the plans? I was thinking, stand tall at the end of Budokan Hall.
Oh yeah. regardless of the jokes we're having, like, I think that match is gonna be great. But I just think that Okada's going to roll through. Yeah, like, now that you mention it, like, what I thought before you mentioned it, it makes sense your way, makes more sense. But I thought what was probably going to happen is you have Jay White advance, he's undefeated in his block, and then Okada gets his win back. Right here, right there, right.
You can do that.
But the way you said it makes more sense as far as being able to buy time for the champion. I quite frankly, like, I think Naito was going to beat Zack Sabre Jr. and Evil's going to beat Goto because Evil always has to spoil somebody. So Naito advances. Naito, and I set up Naito to win the G1, and then Naito versus Jay White at a dome. But as far as the D block, as far as the D block, I could see Shingo winning.
Good old D block.
Yeah, like, I can see, because Shingo faces ELP. Like, it makes sense that Shingo just beats him and moves on. Like, if you want to make the intriguing thing, or you want to after the G1 that, like, Juice's had, where, like, it's been a mess. Like, he's had weird losses, he's had weird fucking matches, he hasn't been able to showcase himself that well. Like, if you want to do it, you can have Shingo lose his match, ELP wins, and then you also have, like, Juice get a win over Ospreay. And Ospreay, yeah, and Ospreay could, we'll see. Actually, I take it back. Actually, if that happens, that will turn into
that's like 7-way tie, right?
Yeah. So never mind. Scratch that. Shingo has to win. Fuck it. Shingo has to win. Sorry. Shingo has to win. He just has to.
Want him to do a 7-way tie and they do a Rambo to decide that shit.
No, we're not doing that. I take back everything I said. I forgot the scenario I laid out 6 minutes ago. But no, like, I think that we're going to end up with Shingo versus Naito. I think we're going to end up with either Tama or White versus Okada. And I think quite frankly, like, I think you get Okada versus Naito, and Naito gets his win back over Okada, and that basically wraps up nicely, like, the feud they've had all year, when they've traded wins between the title matches, and also between the New Japan Cup and the tournaments, so that they end up with 2-2, and they can move on and, find a way to have another match between them somewhere in 2 years at another time.
Cool, man. I didn't have anything else on my sheet. Was, like, I don't know if Stardom is up to date or not, or
I haven't looked because I've been too busy watching New Japan.
Man,
they had
Joshi switched up.
You stupid. No, like, on Thursday, I think it was Thursday or Wednesday, they had a Cork and Hall show that apparently, like, them drawing so well, like, I guess brought Dave Meltzer some type of distress to the part where, like, they outdrew a G1 show. I don't know. It's like, do you by any chance see what? Do you by any chance see what New Japan main evented with that Cork and Hall?
No.
Give me 1 second. It was not something that should have been able to outdraw what Stardom was putting out. If I remember correctly,
that sounded like a personal problem.
Yeah. feel for me for 1 second so I can give you the main event. It was like
Get your merch. Get your merch. But yeah, I heard that a dog tested positive for monkeypox and is suspected human to dog transmission in France. So stay away from that monkeypox, y'all.
Wow.
All I say about the monkeypox is like that shit looks disgusting. If you got the monkeypox will put like a bunch of like holes on your face, and like the monkeypox is not exactly a thing you want to look at every day. That shit just looks like disgusting. I didn't know that the dogs and the animals had to be aware of the monkeypox, but like I wonder how the monkeypox in the dog goes. Like, does the dog bark differently? Does like the monkeypox, like, you know, do the dog lick the monkeypox? Like, what's the protocol for the dog monkeypox? But
no idea.
I don't know, man. That monkeypox is scary. I don't want no part of the monkeypox, and the monkeypox is hopefully they shut that shit down because that shit even sounds. I want no parts of the monkeypox, but.
Rich, they main evented a Korakuen Hall, the first Korakuen Hall of the tour, with David Finlay versus Juice. Now, tell me why that is supposed to draw, outside of the part where one is New Japan, one is Stardom. Stardom does the attendance of about a third the size of New Japan. Except for like in Tokyo, because they do well in Tokyo.
It's the G1.
Tell me how that's supposed to, why that should draw better than a card that has, wrong card. Sorry. Had Azumi versus Tam Nakano. Had Suzu Suzuki versus Mirai. In three other matches, found it. And had like three other matches that could like challenge for 4 stars. Like, why should that be able to like outdo Juice versus David Finlay? I was confused. So yeah, like it did 1,500. It's not that big a deal. Like, it was a throwaway card. And if I remember correctly, New Japan did a couple of shows in Ota City like the weekend before. To like multiple thousands of people in the building. Like, it's not that big a deal. Like, I don't know, like, would 400 more people in Korakuen Hall, or sorry, 1,500, would 300 more people in the building have like made you feel better, Dave Meltzer? I didn't get it. I just didn't. Because, like, there's only 1,700 or 1,800 people in Korakuen Hall anyway. I didn't get it. I didn't get it. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got.
Cool, man. I heard Hikaru Shida fought Suzu Suzuki for the Wave Championship.
Yeah, I heard who won already. I didn't hear. I saw, because I don't block Shida or mute Shida, so I saw her with the belt, and I was like, oh, okay, well, she obviously took it off Suzu Suzuki.
Can we get the Wave Championship defended in AEW so we can have the too many belts people going crazy?
Do they care about the Gaijin belts or the outsider belts on TV?
I don't like who do you mean?
Like, okay, so I'm trying to think. Was there, outside of Ring of Honor, has there ever, what other belts have been defended that weren't?
There's a triple A mixed.
Yeah. So did people care about that? As far as too many belts, or no?
I'm sure it's out there, but I know Brian Alvarez was very confused on why this match had an angle happen for it on Dynamite the week before it was happening on this show. I'm like, what show weren't you watching, Brian? But
wait, say that again? He was confused why they did an angle to build towards a match they were going to do?
No, he was like, he had no idea why this match was happening and all this stuff, and I'm like,
because they liked Tay and they liked Sammy Guevara and they wanted to showcase them. And that the gist of it? The long and short?
I'm like, well, Sammy Guevara and Dante Martin had a match at the beginning of July or the beginning of this month on Dynamite. And at the end of it, Sky Blue was out there and got attacked by Ty Conti.
Right.
It seems like they're just following the storylines. If you're not paying attention, that's on you.
Yeah. Look, man, there's a lot of wrestling, so I get it why you miss some things.
He probably is watching a lot.
Like, it happens to me too, right? I'm like, why? But normally for me, it's like I ask you questions, or I'd be like, why did this happen? Oh, because it's, and I'm just like, oh, okay, and move on. I don't know if you harped on it or not, but whatever. Like,
yeah, I'll send you the video, but I'll send you the video. It's not a podcast topic, but
all right. Well,
besides that,
yeah,
I think we can let y'all off the exit here.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, y'all. Be sure to rate us whatever app you're using to listen to this with on the podcast. If you're listening if you're watching on the live stream, go to the PayPal, go to the Cash App, hit us with donations there. Listen to the podcast, go to the show notes or description, find our Red Circle, drop us off a donation there. And listen to other shows on the network. Besides One Nation Radio, you have Keepin It Strong Style, the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show, Grown Men Watch This Shit, the Grave Consequences Podcast, 8-Bit Suplex, All Things Elite, Great Match Generator, Meet the Press Slam, Get in the Ring, and AEW Match Guide. Thanks for listening, y'all. Later.
Watch the clips.